So we made a list of 5 teams to watch closely this season in the NBA. So I was talking to a friend of mine that is actually trying to get into like watching um, the NBA more, and was thinking of who, like, what team should I support? What team should I support? Right. So maybe if he watches this, listens to us, like he might pick up a thing or so and probably choose one of the teams that we suggest. So yeah, I'll let Yimika start.
Yeah, yeah.
Let-
I mean, just to answer a little bit to your friend's query in terms of like getting into NBA, I would definitely say like just watch the big games. Like every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, they usually have, and Sunday, they usually have good matchups. And they're usually like two top teams like playing against each other. Like the NBA has 82 games. Like there are going to be a lot of games that you don't need to watch. It's just more or less getting that understanding of how people are tracking in terms of their trends. So if you pull up the list, we can just talk through some of those
yeah,
teams that I think you should watch out. So obviously, like the Knicks, and we called out them last week when we talked about the big deals they've made. They're definitely geared up to be a contender in terms of a deep playoff run. They always had Jalen Brunson, who is their main playmaker. They've added Carl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges. They re-signed Ogunobi. So I mean, they're well structured, deep, and they should be able to make a deep run. Um, so let's see. That's the team definitely to keep up for. The Memphis Grizzlies, like they were one of these big teams like 2, 3 years ago, like really
yeah.
accelerated their growth. Um and unfortunately their main man, Ja Morant, has been out for much of last season, and prior to that season he had a little bit of niggles injury. So there's been a lot of dip in
I think
form,
even
even.
last season, after he came back from his suspension, he had injuries. Right?
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't even an injury, it was suspension that his own issue was.
Yeah, but he had
Desmond
an injury
Bain,
last season after he came back.
his wing, his like his number two, his Robin shooter, he hasn't really been playing well.
Yeah, I
Jared
think it
Jackson
was
has,
20 plus a game last season. Desmond
yeah,
Bain.
but I mean it's more about his shooting efficiency. As a 3-point shooter, he's actually dipped a little bit. So he's taking a little bit more shots because obviously Ja wasn't there, but he's always been like a very high efficient shooter. That was why he complemented Ja so well. So maybe he can take less shots, less ball in his hands, and be able to be more impactful for the game. Jared Jackson, he's a defensive guy, but he also needs to step up on offense. So I think the Memphis Grizzlies are primed to do well, but they just definitely have to gel as a team, and they've made some previous trades to improve their defense. So hopefully all that works out together.
Yeah, like what's his name? Marcus Smart. Yeah, Marcus Smart.
Yeah,
He
Smart.
was
They also have
defensive player of the year 2022.
Dylan Brooks, who literally everybody hates, but he's also good defensively. But yeah, I mean,
I think they have depth as well, Sha.
yeah, I mean, they have a couple of guys there, but to be honest, these three guys need to take their game. Ja just needs to play as he was playing, which was almost MVP level. Desmond Bain needs to get up on that second level where he was literally like a marksman, sharpshooter. And Jared Jackson is the one that needs to take the huge leap because, he's been up and coming for a couple of years and hasn't really come yet.
It has now come. Never come. Anyway, so before we move on, are they getting 50 minutes this season?
Um, I mean that West Coast is definitely deep. It's definitely tough to do that. I definitely think there are a couple more teams that are in front of them. So I would say no, but that doesn't stop them from making a deep playoff run. We saw that last season. The teams that are snuck in were the ones that were actually quite dangerous when they got to the playoffs. So it's not really about being. It's about catching form at the right time. Is what I would say.
Fair enough. Okay, so the
Yeah.
Bucks.
The Bucks, high hopes, low performance. Um, I mean, Giannis is definitely like to me the best player in the league at this point in time. Like, yeah,
Really?
Luca is there, but in terms of like if you want to build a team, like I'm going to start with Giannis. I'm going to start with Giannis because I know there's nobody going to be able to guard him.
Please
Um,
throw your red flags in the comments, guys. Is Yanis the best player in the league?
there's
Yimika
there's
said he thinks so.
there's no
Please
arguing it. There's not even I think so.
challenge that take, guys.
It's well known. I mean, a lot of people are going to pick Luca to win MVP, but I definitely think Giannis is still the best player in the league. Um, Damian Lillard, he came off strong to start. Actually, no, he was wobbly to start. Then he had a good time where he was playing well in the playoffs. He also had a good run until he got hurt. Giannis also got hurt, so they need to just stay healthy. They need to build rapport. A two-man pick and roll game with Lillard and Giannis is unstoppable because Lillard can shoot from anywhere. Giannis can take two steps and he's at the rim. So those two guys just need to form that chemistry. And Chris Middleton, on the corner, hitting them threes is what they just need to sort of set up as a good rotation. And Doc, he has a lot to prove. So I think this is a good situation for them to.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I was going to say that yes, they have ballers, all well and good, but Doc Rivers, for me, he has to show that he can close when like the pressure is on. Like if the last preseason game I watched, the Lakers against the Bucks, right, is anything to go by. These guys blew a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter or something like that. So
Yeah,
it's
he's
preseason, so I'm not reading too much into it, right? But the evidence
actually
there.
Doc is considered like a Hall of Fame coach, but realistically, other than his time with the Celtics, he's had a lot of potentially maybe kind of situation. Like with the Clippers, they never really made it to the final or anything significant like that. He's just hopped around from different teams based off that reputation. So I would say realistically, if he doesn't get them to the final in his tenure, he would sort of now start looking like a has been kind of coach where he probably wouldn't get another major coaching opportunity. So he has a lot riding on it. And Giannis, I mean, the Milwaukee, we know that if Giannis is not going to no final, he's definitely going to leave. So these are things Lillard wants out. Like if you could trade him right now, he would take it. So these are things that they have to worry about. And yeah, we'll see how they manage.
Right. Um. So
Yeah,
okay.
you've already seen our last team, but OKC, they were actually kind of like the disappointment for last season. Like played really well. I think they finished first in the West by beating like the Nuggets by half a game. Um, SGA was pretty solid, but was showcasing that him by himself wasn't good enough to sort of carry the team. Jalen Williams, even though he had a really good season overall, he didn't really perform too well in the playoffs. Pet Holgrams was sort of like a no-show realistically. They've made some switch up. They've gotten rid of Grady, who was like a liability in defense. They went to get Alex Caruso, DN3,
Yeah, I think that's a
veteran.
good acquisition for them.
I mean,
Yep.
I get it. I get it. And they need to start capitalizing on the potential that they have, which is why you get rid of Grady and you bring someone like Caruso who's proven. But I still feel Grady has a high ceiling. So for me, if I'm playing 2K mode, like I would never do that trade. But in real
That's why
life,
2K is not real life.
I can understand why you do it. And they've also gotten the Harnstein from the Knicks. He signed with them, the center that allows Holmgren to play more power forward, which I think would be better for him. He doesn't have to bank too much down low, and he can use his playmaking skills a little bit more. Jalen Williams also moved to the three. He can play four, so it gives them flexibility in a new dimension. Yeah, we'll just see what they do. Like they have a lot of potential, but they need to. They have a lot of 3-point shooters. Joe, Wiggins, like a lot of guys that they're deep, but they just need to actually evolve and sort of mature to move to deeper rounds in the playoffs.
Right.
Then our last team, like you already saw, 76ers, like they've been again a lot of similar to the Memphis, where they've been coming. In fact, Milwaukee, same thing, they've been almost there. One more player, trust the process. Like, yeah, Maxi has turned up to be a superstar. They've gotten
Yeah.
Paul George. They need to keep Embiid
There's an asterisk
healthy.
on Paul George, by the way.
Yeah, he
He got
hyperextension
injured.
of knee.
Yeah.
You
He just
know Paul
got
George.
one.
I mean, it's crazy. Signing Paul George makes sense, but signing Paul George doesn't make sense knowing that you have Embiid because both of those guys are two injury
Bro.
prone players. It's like
Embiid, Embiid literally came out and said a couple of days ago, right? Or I don't know, I saw it a couple of days ago, right? That he can't play back to back anymore. He doesn't plan to.
no, that's fine, and that's fine. I mean, I saw that post too, and I know a lot of
At
people
least
threw
he knows himself.
no because again in the playoffs you're not going to play back to back. And realistically, your position in a very weakened Eastern Conference is relatively not as important. Like the Heat showcased that when they went from the playing tournament and went all the way to the Eastern Conference final. Like you can you can outgun the top ranked people. It's just making sure that again you are on form at the right time.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think now we can look at potential breakout stars for this coming season. We'll start with Derek Lively.
Yeah, he was definitely somebody who played pretty well in the playoffs. Seen a couple of highlights where the guy is actually handling the ball from um his own half of the court to the other half, dribbling, spinning, dunking. He's a really good defensive player, so he definitely adds that security that Dallas needs from anchoring point of view. We don't need him to do any of that actually like playmaking. You know, you got your Luka, you got your Kyrie, but if he can be someone who you can do a lot of offensive plays with and he's still adding more intensity to his defense, he's going to potentially break out this season.
Fair enough.
Um,
Fair enough. Oh, and by the way, these names are not in any particular order, right? So it's not like a top five. It's just
yeah. These are just players that we think, they're in the right situation. They have supporting cast and they've showcased like consistent development that I mean, they might not be all stars. Like all star situation is very much somebody gets hurt, somebody gets
I
injured.
actually expect if I expect at least four of them to be all stars this season. I
No,
expect.
I think that's so high. I would say the list, based
Just
on
be
this list, maybe two would be all stars. And
we'll
these
see
are
the
really
list.
good
We'll
players.
see the list.
Jalen Williams, again, like I said, played really well throughout the season. I feel like he needs to establish himself as the true number two in OKC. He showed flashes of that where his three, his defense, but he just needs to be someone that can consistently get a bucket. And I think he's definitely improved on his game and added more versatility to what he can do offensively. Defense wise, he's locked down. No worries about that. But on his offense, I think he just needs to be someone that they can throw the ball to and consistently get a bucket.
Yeah. OKC's biggest problem will be the like depth of like the West, right? Like I think that's going to be the biggest obstacle, and obviously keeping that guy's fit too.
Yeah.
Wemby,
So yeah, this is definitely a guy that's going to be an all-star. Like I can already call this one.
You don't think Jalen Williams is going to be an all star? I think he's
I
going to be.
cannot say
Personally,
definitely. I can say
personally,
he has the potential, but definitely is not like
yeah,
I'm,
but
I'm not
people bet now. You have to be giving them hope. Like
okay.
give them what to bet on.
you
Then
can
was
put money on
there
Jalen
for
Williams, but trust and believe the West, because of his position as a forward, small guard, as a power forward. I mean, they group them as forward, small forward, power forward. Like you already have your LeBron, you have your KD. Like those guys are locks. um,
when
there are a couple of people that
injuries
are
happen.
already locks in there, so it's just hard for him to make it. Actually, no. Your Paul George has moved to the East. That opens his slot. Your Kawhi Leonard is out hurt. Probably isn't going to play much. So maybe. I mean, if the odds are stacked against him, you can put 20 on it or $5 on it.
Yep.
Um, but Wemby, like the odds are definitely going to be terrible for you. He's got Chris Paul. Chris Paul has this stat where basically every single team he's joined, their win percentage has increased by I think like 5%.
Yep.
Um, bro is just going to be throwing alleys to this guy. Wemby has actually gotten jacked up. I wish we even had that picture showing before and after where they're like saying he needs to get drug tested. Because when he came into the league super skinny,
Yeah.
now he's added muscle. Oh my god! Like and the summer he just had with the Olympics where he basically carried France to the final. Like, come on, this guy's you can even call him an all-star at this point in time. I'm even shocked that he didn't make was like first not first rookie, one of the only rookies to make a all-star appearance. So he's definitely going to be that guy. Yeah, top 10 player already.
For sure.
OG
OG
and a newbie. Yeah, I
Anunoby.
mean, sorry, correct me, help me. Part of this Knicks, I think that they've obviously done a lot to retool their team. He was one of the guys that they got paid well. Um, a lot of people said he got paid more than his value is, but I think he's going to be able to showcase.
Oh, he will definitely show it. He will definitely show it. I think he
But
will.
not even just because of the money, because they've added other pieces to him. Your Malik Bridges takes a little bit of that defensive
Yeah.
pressure off him, but again, he adds that versatility. Like you can play a lineup where he's like power forward, or maybe he's center, and Michael Bridges,
Mika Bridges.
Makai Bridges is like power forward. Like they can interchange between like three positions between themselves. Both of them can be point forwards where they handle the ball. So there's a lot that they can do between themselves, and I feel like he's going to have that ability to take himself to the next level where he's a potential all-star. Like the Knicks could have four all-stars. Brunson, Towns, him, and Bridges, like easily, if they're all on point. But again, I've been saying the same thing over and over. They have to be hitting form at the right time.
I think last year it was injuries that sort of curtailed their season.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, towards the end, and even Randall that they traded away. So they've retooled, they're ready to go. Never been a Knicks fan, but I like the way they play ball, so it's very interesting to watch.
Don't let
Um,
Stephen A hear you.
Stephen A is at
The
least
guy loves the Knicks, man.
he's happy that his Knicks are relevant at this point in time.
Finally relevant. Anyway, the
And
last guy.
the last guy, like again, probably not a lot of people know much about him, but this team, I think, if they start off well and they show some type of consistency, I'm calling them a potential destination for KD if the Suns falter like they look like they have. Like Suns have no type of defensive structure within their whole squad. It's just shooters, gunslingers. The Rockets basically traded for the Suns' first round pick, future first round pick. And it's because this guy has really developed. They have another nice center who might have made this list in terms of the depth of players that they have. But Jalen Green, I think he's ready to sort of showcase that he's that guy. And yeah, we'll see what he can do. Maybe another breakout all-star. But the only
Yeah,
guy I
for
would bet
sure.
on is for like guaranteed money is Victor.
Well, so we hope we've been able to shed some light on or highlights of things for new people who are new to the NBA to sort of look out for this coming season. Yeah.
Get you excited, get you interested in watching some games. And again, we'll continue to bring results and give you more insights on those players as they develop. Like we'll track them and let you know how they're performing. I might bring
I think
another rank.
the season ends this week, and the first game should be next week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how the season develops, right? Um,